At Build 2026, Microsoft showed an operating system that throws out the thing every phone and PC is built around, the app. It's called Project Solara, and instead of a grid of icons you tap, it runs AI agents you delegate to. The twist nobody expected: it isn't Windows. Underneath, Solara runs on Android. Microsoft, the Windows company, building its agent future on Google's open-source OS. Let's unpack what it actually is, and how much of it is real. Solara is what Microsoft calls a chip-to-cloud platform, a full stack from the silicon in a device up to the cloud running behind it, designed so AI agents aren't trapped inside one fixed interface. The base operating system is MDEP, the Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform, an enterprise version of Android built from AOSP. On top sits a shell that talks to multiple agents, copilot and specialist agents, and routes whatever you ask to whichever one fits the job. The core idea is the part worth understanding. Today, every device needs someone to hand design an app for it, one layout for a watch, another for a monitor, another for glasses. Solara's pitch is just-in-time UI. Instead of pre-built apps, an agent generates the right interface in the moment, for whatever device you're holding. Ask the same thing on a tiny badge and you get one or two controls. Ask it on a desk display and you get a richer view, more data, more buttons. The interface is built to fit, on the fly. Microsoft showed two devices to make the idea concrete. The first is the Desk Concept, a smart display with a touchscreen, microphones, and a camera, running on MediaTek chips. It keeps you posted on what your agents are doing, and it can even drive a full Windows session from the cloud through an external display. The second is stranger, the Badge Concept. Imagine your work lanyard badge with a touchscreen, 5G, a camera, and a fingerprint reader, built on Qualcomm Snapdragon. You tap to authenticate, then just talk to your agents. Why try this at all? Because the app model gets brutal as devices multiply. Every new form factor, a watch, glasses, a badge, a fridge, has historically needed its own apps, its own security work, its own years of developer support. That's exactly where Microsoft stumbled before. If an agent can build the interface for any device on demand, you skip that entire treadmill: no app store to court, no per-device redesign. The device just needs to run an agent, and the agent does the rest. Now the honest part. You cannot buy a Solara device. Not the badge, not the desk display. Microsoft is explicit that this is early, and that these concepts may not become the actual shipping product. One sharp critic flatly called Solara vaporware. And the whole thing leans on a promise that the powerful, context-aware agents needed to generate good interfaces on demand will exist and work well. Today, that part is still mostly a hope, not a demo. So treat the devices as a vision board, not a product launch. But here's what stops this from being pure fantasy: the operating system underneath is already real and shipping. MDEP has been out since 2024, and it runs the brains of Teams meeting rooms, the bars, panels, and phones from a dozen-plus brands like Jabra and Yelink. The chip partners are on the record too, executives from Qualcomm and MediaTek publicly backing it. And hundreds of Microsoft employees are reportedly already using the concept devices internally. The agent-first layer is a concept, but it's a concept sitting on a foundation that exists. To get why Microsoft is doing this, rewind 10 years. Microsoft tried to own the phone and lost. Its app store never filled up, and by 2019 Windows Phone was dead. That failure is the ghost behind Solara. But one analyst flips it into an advantage: because Microsoft doesn't own a phone, it isn't forced to make the phone the center of your computing. It can make the cloud the hub instead, and let agents reach you on whatever device you happen to be near: a badge, a display, a pair of glasses. The old weakness becomes the new strategy, and Microsoft isn't alone in this. At Google I/O a few weeks earlier, Google showed search that builds the answer in whatever format your question needs, spinning up custom dashboards and little mini-apps from a single query, generated on the fly. That's the same core idea as Solara's just-in-time UI, just aimed at search instead of devices. When the two biggest software companies independently bet that AI should generate the interface, it stops looking like a gimmick and starts looking like a direction. Put Solara in financial perspective. Microsoft is on track to spend roughly $190 billion on capital this year, most of it AI data centers, including nearly $35 billion in a single quarter. Solara, a badge and a desk display, is a tiny consumer-facing sliver of that. And it lands while Microsoft's deal with OpenAI has been loosened to non-exclusive, freeing OpenAI to work with rivals like Amazon. Read together, Microsoft is pouring fortunes into AI and hedging its bets on whose models power the future. Solara is one of those bets, placed in public. So where does that leave us? Split it cleanly. What's real today? The underlying Android-based OS, the silicon partners, real retail pilots with names like Best Buy, CVS, and Target. What's a promise? The agents smart enough to make just-in-time interfaces genuinely good, and devices you can actually buy. Solara is not vaporware in the sense of nothing existing, but it is a concept resting on capabilities that still have to arrive. Exciting? Yes. Shipping? No. Hold both thoughts at once. If you want to track whether Solara becomes real, watch 3 things. 1. Do the pilots with Best Buy, CVS, Target and the others turn into deployed devices people actually use? 2. Does a Solara device get a price and a ship date? That's the line between concept and product. 3. Do the just-in-time interfaces actually work well in demos with real agents, not staged ones? Hit all 3 and this is a platform. Miss them, and it joins Microsoft's long museum of interesting concepts.
Here's the one idea to take with you. For 15 years, the app was the unit of software. You downloaded it, you opened it, you tapped through it. The bet behind Solara is that the next unit is the agent. You don't open it, you delegate to it, and it builds whatever screen the moment needs. Whether Microsoft is the one to pull it off, that shift is the real story.
Project Solara is Microsoft's clearest statement yet that the app era might be ending, an Android-based OS where agents, not apps, are the thing you reach for. Real foundation, unfinished future. If you want the tech explained with the hype stripped out, subscribe to Technologia today. We'll be watching whether the agents show up, and we'll tell you when they do.